Roman Friedman, who's one of the scholars that works with INET, has said that we suffer from models which have the illusion of stability. Yet all of us now read Manias, Panics, and Crashes by Charles Kindleberger and the like. We can look and see that our theoretical models do not predict the kind of behavior that we've seen recur, this booms and busts cycle that George Soros and others talk about. And Roman said to me last week that we're in a period of Knightian uncertainty about economic theory.
Well, that's right. You're absolutely right. We are in a period of Knightian uncertainty about economic theory. One of the things we're certain about, however, is that a fundamental proposition is Knightian uncertainty.
That's right.
I think clearly one of the things that went wrong, both in the activity of policymakers and simply the risk management tools of major investment banks, was these extraordinary assumptions that you could just derive probability distributions from the past of the way that the economy operated and assume that that was the probability distribution of the way that it would operate in the future. And indeed to assume that if the historical results looked a bit tidy, you could just assume that underlying it there was a Gaussian normal probability distribution. This was a fundamental delusion. It was a delusion which helped give us models which we were capable of turning the mathematics on, but they've fundamentally ignored the basic insights of Frank Knight and indeed of Keynes in his treatise on probability, that the world is governed by deep inherent uncertainty. And we have to come to terms with that. Now, it is then unsettling, but it is quite startling that we developed economic models which simply couldn't describe phenomenon which clearly had occurred. I mean, you mentioned Kindleberger. Of course, you go back to Charles Mackay, the extraordinary extraordinary popular delusions and the madness of crowds, who 150 years ago described the way that when you get a momentum and a herd effect behind a financial bubble, all these models of supposed rationality of individual people and perfectly operating efficient markets simply don't work. And I think the most crucial thing we've got to return to is focusing on the world as it is. Economics has got to describe the world as it is. It's got to, therefore, bring together models which attempt to understand as best possible what the world is. But if they can't explain real world phenomenon, they're not good enough. We can't sort of proceed on the basis of, well, the real world phenomenon is not good enough for my model, so I'll sort of ignore the real world phenomenon. It has to be the other way around. And it is, I think, a major shift.